Business information meeting. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce Roxanne Favors, our Chief Revenue Officer. And
Janet's microphone is having some fun here. Good afternoon. Thank you, Janet. As she mentioned, my name is Roxanne Favors, and I'm the Chief Revenue Officer here for the City of Phoenix Aviation Department. And in that role, I'm responsible for the lead strategic and business initiatives to grow our airport revenue. And those are in several areas that we have. That includes our aeronautical and our non-aeronautical property management, our airport concessions, our rent-a-cars, our parking services, and our commercial advertising. Last year, these lines of business accounted for an annual revenue of over $580 million here at Sky Harbor Airport. Additionally, I provide executive leadership to our business and properties division, our contracts and services, which are our procurement staff, as well as our design and construction, our planning and environmental services, as well as our strategic air service development program and land acquisition initiatives. So I do want to thank you guys all for being here today, both in person and online, for our business information meeting regarding our small business micro restaurant opportunity. I know your time is valuable, and I'm really grateful that you can join us. I do want to take a moment to share a little bit more about the City of Phoenix and the Aviation Department before we get into the business information meeting. We are a department of the City of Phoenix, and we, as such, we manage and operate not only Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, but we also operate Deer Valley Airport and Phoenix Goodyear Airport. We recognize that Sky Harbor is the large commercial airport, air service airport, and it is the largest in our Phoenix airport system. To give a little bit of perspective, Sky Harbor serves more than 135,000 passengers per day, and that's with over 1,200 flights per day. We have consistently here at Sky Harbor been ranked one of the 10 busiest airports in North America, and most recently was recognized as the #3 mega airport in the United States. And those are our mega airports, or airports that have over 40 million annual passengers that's taking place. This ranking really does confirm our vision for our airport, that we are an extraordinary airport for a thriving Phoenix community. Additionally, in calendar year 2024, more than 52.3 million annual passengers traveled through Sky Harbor. We are served by 25 airlines with nonstop service to over 144 destinations, including 25 international markets. We've seen an annual economic impact of more than $44 billion per year that we account for our airport system. To meet our airport needs, you may have heard most recently that we broke ground on a new 6-gate facility in our Terminal 3 North 2 concourse, and that concourse will come online in 2027. But for today's presentation, we're going to focus on the small business opportunity that's also within the Terminal 3 for that. I share that because we continue to see growth within our Terminal 3 activity within our airline passengers. Here at Sky Harbor, our mission is really to welcome the world to Phoenix through ambitious, sustainable airports that everyone loves. And we know that our business partners play a really significant role in achieving that mission. For our airports, we strive to have a unique experience, both in cultivating the best of the community's culture in dining, shopping, and services, because you really do contribute to that sense of place. Small businesses in particular, we know those business partners bring that sense of space through their success, through their ingenuity and their innovation and their diversity of thought. Today's meeting, we're going to focus on the small business opportunities. However, we also do have other opportunities within our concessions program, so you'll hear a little bit more about that today. I'm going to turn it back over to Janet, and she will begin the meeting.
thank you, Roxanne. Again, my name is Janet Lee, the Concessions Program Manager at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. So we are conducting today's meeting in a hybrid platform where attendees are either joining online or in person. And to make today's meeting a success, we have asked the WebEx host to mute your microphones and minimize any possible background noises. For those of you attending virtually, if you have any questions, feel free to submit them using the chat function. You may click on the chat feature in the bottom right corner of WebEx to submit your questions. And we will also be responding to in-person questions at the end of the presentation. The presentation will also be available at the Airport Business Outreach site, which you can access through this QR code. And our team should have the slides available within 72 hours. And lastly, Everything discussed or answered today is subject to change as we're in the development of the solicitation. Today's agenda includes an overview of Terminal 3 and the micro-restaurant and kiosk scope overview, along with the revenue contract solicitation details. And you'll hear us reference revenue contract solicitation, or RCS, which is the city's competitive process when we are soliciting for revenue contracts. It's essentially the same as an RFP, or request for proposal. We'll then discuss the small business outreach requirements presented by our Equal Opportunity Department, and then closing with a Q&A session. So Terminal 3 is home to 15 airlines, and it's an essential hub for travelers in and out of Phoenix. The international flights from Terminal 3 are pre-custom cleared Canadian airlines, such as Porter Airlines and Air Canada. Now, there is a growing need for food and beverage services at Terminal 3 pre-security locations, with only one existing concession at baggage claim. And through survey results, the feedback was to add additional food and beverage units in the pre-security side for our meters and greeters. The badging office pictured here was relocated to Terminal 3 last December, and on average, the badging office processes 200 to 300 customers a day, which brings additional foot traffic to the pre-security areas. T3 employments have also steadily increased, and we foresee a 2.5% of annual growth. With growing demands, the Aviation Department will begin constructing a brand new concourse at T3, which will open sometime in 2027. With over 6 million employments in Terminal 3 last year, concession demands will only continue to rise. Now, the terminals are equipped with a range of dining and shopping options that enhance the travel experience, and this continues to be our goal. Increasing small business opportunities and driving sales and revenue with quality food and beverage, the offering is essential to a successful concessions program. The operator should explore innovative solutions and technology to create a more efficient ordering and payment experience for our customers. And the overall best scored proposal will be selected for this opportunity. Now, for over 16 years, Phoenix Sky Harbor has been known as America's friendliest airport, and each and every one of us is responsible for this brand. We're all here to service our customers in some way or shape, and customers and passengers are not an interruption to our work, but instead they're the purpose of it. So they're the people that we have contact with internally, externally, anyone we come across with. And it's imperative to stress the importance of our culture, which is to serve our customers and continue America's friendliest airport's mission. And we'd expect any operator and their employees coming into Phoenix to carry that and lead by example. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into the details of the small business opportunity. From this slide, you can see the micro restaurant will be located on the 4th floor of Terminal 3, which is pre-security, as shown by the yellow star. You can also see the relocated badging office on the south side of the map. The future location of the micro restaurant will sit along the window facing Camelback Mountain, as shown on the photo on the left. The pictures on the right shows the actual micro restaurant and equipment being operated out of Terminal 4 in 2022. The micro restaurant, including tables and chairs, is approximately 1,200 square feet. The city purchased the micro restaurant, kiosk, and the associated equipment, and the successful respondent will develop their proposed concept utilizing these units and equipment. An equipment list will be made available when the solicitation is posted. For the kiosk, it'll be located on level 1 of Terminal 3 across from baggage claim on the north side of the building. And you can see that with the star and the arrow pointing onto the map. The food and beverage option in level 1 is limited to Pete's Coffee. So by placing the kiosk behind the escalator, directly across baggage claim will serve our customers waiting for their luggage. The kiosk dimension is approximately 15 feet by 10 feet, so 150 square feet, and was previously located in Terminal 4D gates. Now, the operator previously offered hot foods such as breakfast burritos, empanadas, and coffee. But with this new opportunity, the concept and menu items are for you to propose that showcases what Phoenix has to offer. These standalone mobile units only require electrical power, and water can be independently brought in and stored in a reservoir. The contract term will be 3 years with 2 one-year renewal options for an aggregate 5-year term. Rent will be percentage of gross sales, so there is no minimum annual guarantee for this lease. So 8% will be for the food and beverage and 18% for alcohol, which is only applicable to the micro restaurant if the operator decides to include alcohol in their sales with the appropriate liquor licenses. We understand to operate out of the terminal, on-site storage is very important to your operations, and we have identified spaces in the terminal and we'll share more information when the solicitation is finalized. So here's a look ahead of the solicitation schedule. We anticipate posting the document sometime this summer with a pre-response meeting to follow. Once the procurement process is complete and the evaluation panel makes a selection, staff will seek City Council's approval to enter into a contract with the operator. And we're tracking for the end of this year or early next year. And a friendly reminder that these dates are subject to change as we're developing the solicitation. Now, the next portion of the presentation is the small business outreach requirements, and I'd like to introduce Sarah Morato, Small Business Engagement Manager with our Contracts and Services Division. Sarah?
Thank you, Janet. As she mentioned, my name is Sarah Morato, and I'm the Small Business Engagement Manager. In my role, I oversee our education and outreach initiatives for any small businesses interested in doing business with our 3 airports. I want to thank you all for attending today's business information meeting. This is the last of several outreach events we've held for the T3 Micro Restaurant and Kiosk Small Business Opportunity. In October of last year, we held 2 other business information meetings consisting of the same content you heard today. Then in November, we held a special outreach session called Operating at Sky Harbor, which provided attendees an overview of some of the ins and outs of operating a business inside the terminal. Some of the content that we shared there included information on our security and badging process, employee parking, airside deliveries, and sustainability considerations. That presentation and recording is available on our outreach page at the QR code listed here. In addition, today's presentation, as Janet mentioned, the presentation recording and attendee list will be posted 72 business hours after this event. Now I want to cover some resources you might find helpful during this process. The first QR code on this slide will link you to our outreach events website. Here you can find the materials from previous meetings, as I just mentioned, but also links to other upcoming outreach events. You may be interested in the upcoming Terminal 3 North 2 concessions opportunities coming up. We just had a business information meeting covering that on Monday, this past Monday, but we will be hosting 2 other associated events, including a business matchmaking event in the near future. So please visit that website for more details and to get registered. Below the outreach page, you can find our aviation business website. Here you can find information on a variety of things like our business opportunities, security and badging process, career information, and more. I also wanted to share some information on how to get signed up for our aviation interest list. The interest list is used to send notices on upcoming opportunities as well as outreach events. If you'd like to start receiving emails from us, you can email busops.aviation@phoenix.gov. and include your company name, email address, and area of business interest. You can also use that email to just reach out to us with any general questions that you have. With that, I would like to introduce Jana Evans, an equal opportunity specialist that works with us on ACDBE matters such as compliance, monitoring, and outreach. Jana will be providing an overview of outreach requirements for this RCS opportunity. Jana is also joined by John Eastlis from the Equal Opportunity Department, who will be providing some information on our small business certification program. Thank you both for being here with us. I'll turn it over to you now, Jana.
Thank you, Sarah. So, as we've mentioned, this is a small business opportunity, and I just want to bring to your attention that as Sky Harbor is a recipient of U.S. Department of Transportation funding, Sky Harbor is required to establish the Airport Concession Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, or ACDBE program. That is done in accordance with regulations of the Department of Transportation, 49 Code of Federal Regulations, Parts 23 and 26. In addition to the outreach efforts that I'm going to describe in the upcoming slides, I want to make sure that you're aware that, again, since this is small business outreach, the city is going to be responsible for potentially verifying small business status of any businesses that apply under that category. The city defines a small business as any business whose annual gross income averaged over the past 5 years does not exceed the Small Business Administration, or the SBA, size standards as set forth in 13 CFR Part 21. If your firm is not already certified, all offerers for this small business opportunity may be asked to provide additional documentation to allow the verification of their small business status at the time of submittal. With that, I'd like to move on to some outreach reminders. So, Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport does not set race-conscious goals for participation. We do utilize race-neutral measures to achieve our ACDBE and small business participation. We do also utilize a national market for our small business participation, so you're not restricted to being only a business from Phoenix. And we also must report this participation annually to the Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA. So these are some of the reminders of things that we do and must do. As part of the outreach requirement, the successful respondents must conduct outreach to small businesses. Along with food and beverage providers, other small business opportunities may include janitorial services, uniform services, suppliers of products, and suppliers of goods and other services. I've included a couple of links for directories. The ACDBE, DBE, and Small Business Concerns, or SBCs, can be found using the QR code there on the top right for the Arizona UTRAX business portal. And for Small Business Enterprise, which is the local City of Phoenix certified businesses, you can utilize the City of Phoenix certification and compliance system. That QR code there on the lower left, and the link is in the slide. And I want to also just kind of point out that each of your outreach requirements or efforts are not restricted to companies that are already certified. So you can outreach to any small businesses. They don't have to be certified. For this specific business solicitation, at the time of that revenue contract solicitation, or the RCS submittal, as a matter of your responsiveness, all respondents must complete and submit 3 forms that will be provided when the solicitation is released. These forms are the EO-1-200, which is just mainly your statement of your outreach commitment, the form EO-2-200, which is your small business outreach efforts and participants list. So this is the information you'll record on the form and provide to us. And then finally, form EO-3-200, which is going to be the small business utilization commitment. So your commitment to using those small businesses. And again, the forms will be released with the RCS. Additionally, all respondents must fulfill the outreach requirements. Failure to provide documentation of the outreach efforts at the submission equals a rejected response. We will not look at your response. The outreach efforts to small businesses must be demonstrated by submitting the required documentation, so that EO-1-200, EO-2-200 with supporting documentation, and Form EO-3-200. If a respondent is a small business, that respondent must conduct outreach to other small businesses. If the respondent is a joint venture, which would be a partnership between a small business and another business, the respondent must conduct outreach to other small businesses that are not a part of that joint venture. And as a reminder, you must complete the outreach requirements, even if you are an ACDBE or a small business, and you cannot outreach to yourself. Now, what steps do you take to conduct this outreach? We've come up with an easy way to remind yourself of these steps, and we like to call it iced tea. So the first step is going to be to identify the opportunities within your business that you could utilize small businesses for. Secondly, you'd want to conduct that outreach. Reach out to the businesses to ask how they can participate with you. Third step, evaluate. Take a look at what they submit to you. Evaluate if it's going to be beneficial, if you can use them. And then finally, the fourth step, and another very important one, you need to tell them of your selection decision. So you must tell each business that that responded to your outreach efforts of their selection decision, whether or not that business was selected. So even if you don't choose them, you have to tell them. And finally, document everything. The more documentation, the better. So this is just kind of a sneak peek at the EO2 200 form, which is the participants list in your outreach efforts. Just kind of highlighting the different sections where those different areas come into play. So identify is I, conduct, evaluate, and tell. Iced tea. Nice way to remember it. Additionally, all successful respondents, along with completing those forms and submitting that, they must fulfill the ACDBE program requirements and shall comply with the airport ACDBE program plan and the federal regulations 49 CFR parts 23 and 26. Additionally, all businesses must track and report all ACDBE and small business participation that incurs as a result of their contracts, procurements, purchase orders, obviously goods and purchases, or purchases of goods and services, and or other arrangements involving sub-tier participation. And that data must be entered monthly into our Phoenix certification and compliance system, and we've included the QR code and then the link to that in the presentation also. One final step for outreach is our annual component, and each participant in concession contracts must complete and submit an annual small business participation plan, or our SBPP, each year on the anniversary date of their contract execution date. So this SBPP will detail the successful respondents' continuing commitment to outreach to ACDBEs and small businesses. And in advance of the contract anniversary date, Equal Opportunity Department will send the template to the successful respondents for completion. With that, I'd like to hand it on over to John Easlis, my certification coworker. Thank you.
Thank you, Jana. I will be going over a brief overview of the certification program for small for-profit businesses that may want to apply. A lot of the information is on your screen and it'll be made available to you. There are two types of certifications I will be discussing. The first is the Federal Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, or DBE program, and the second is our Local Small Business Enterprise, or SBE program. Airport Concession Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, or ACDBE, is a designation within the DBE program reserved for businesses that serve the traveling public. Both programs are regulated by the Federal Court of Regulations. 49 CFR Part 23 speaks specifically to participation of DBEs in airport concessions, and 49 CFR Part 26 covers certification as well as participation of DBEs in Department of Transportation financially assisted programs. The local SBE program is also mandated in Chapter 18, Article 6 of the Phoenix City Code. The City of Phoenix is the agency that processes certification applications for firms headquartered in Maricopa County and all ACDBEs. The City of Phoenix belongs to a Unified Certification Program, or a UCP. There are a total of 3 agencies that can certify DBEs in Arizona. The other 2 agencies are the City of Tucson, which certifies businesses headquartered in Pima County, and the Arizona Department of Transportation, which is responsible for the rest of the state. DBE certification is recognized statewide, whereas our SBE certification is local and only valid for participation for businesses in Maricopa County. In addition, certified DBEs from other states may apply to be certified in Arizona through a streamlined process with the UCP, as this is a national program. DBE firms are sought after to meet goals on federally funded contracts, not only through the City of Phoenix, but also through surrounding cities and agencies. Certified SBE firms are sought after to meet goals set on locally funded projects. Certified firms may also bid directly on city contracts if they are registered vendors with the City of Phoenix. There are many benefits to being a certified firm. They have opportunities to participate in the city's concession program and may be eligible to bid on general service contracts reserved for competition among certified firms. Also, there may be participation sought after within the private sector. I would like to note that certification is not a guarantee of work. Firms still need to market themselves and attend pre-bid meetings whenever possible. On this slide, you see the landing page for the City of Phoenix Certification and Compliance System. The actual website address is phoenix.diversitycompliance.com. This is where a Maricopa County-based business would apply for ACDBE, DBE, SBE, or all 3 if applicable. There is a menu at the bottom of the page which will enable you to either apply for certification or use the search engine that was spoke about earlier. The Apply For or Renew Certification button highlighted here is where a firm would begin applying for certification. The button above that one, Search Certified Directory, is the repository of Phoenix certified firms. This is a great tool for finding small local certified firms. A user does not need to be signed into the system to utilize this search engine. The Arizona Department of Transportation's website, AZU Tracks, as mentioned earlier, is where people would find DBEs and ACDBEs. It was listed earlier on slide 20 of this presentation. Thank you. I'll go ahead and hand it over now.
Thank you, John. Now this brings us to the Q&A portion of the meeting. For those of you online, please use the chat feature to submit your questions and our host will read them aloud. And for those of you in person, please raise your hand and staff will bring you a microphone so that those attending online can hear your questions or your comments. Do we have any questions online? This is a really good opportunity to obtain any clarifications or provide any suggestions before our solicitation transparency policy or cone of silence, which we know is in effect.
So if we don't have any questions, we're going to go ahead and then conclude today's meeting. What we would encourage both online and those that are in person to go back to the recordings of the previous, I think we do have one, to go back to the previous recordings that we did at the business information meeting, because there were questions that were along those meetings that were recorded. Our format for these meetings is we don't write down the questions and then post the question and answer onto the site. We just encourage those to go back to the recordings. Anissa, you said that we had a question?
Is the city open to covering a sales minimum?
Can you repeat the last portion?
Is the city open to covering a sales minimum?
If I'm understanding the question is saying that for a transaction at a minimum, you have to buy X dollars? And if that's the case, no, we don't do sales minimums that are there. It's just the opportunity for the customer to purchase whatever products or beverages that you have.
How many locations will be available?
There are two locations. The first location is a micro restaurant located at Terminal 3, Level 4, and the second location is a kiosk located at the first level at baggage claim of Terminal 3. And both locations are pre-security locations.
Is the opengov.com new website where we will submit the bid?
Thank you for that question. So our procurement staff is not on the line right now, and we would keep most of the procurement information for the pre-submittal meeting that will take place once the solicitation posts. But we are doing that transition from our vendor platform to OpenGov, and that is open now. And if you would like further information, it is on our solicitation website or our vendor portal. So either one of those websites will take you to OpenGov so you can learn more about it there. But the solicitation document for this will be on the OpenGov portal.
I think you guys mentioned it, but the list of equipment is not going to be complete until it's listed, is that correct? The included equipment?
Correct. The list of equipment will be posted when the solicitation is available, and it will also be doing a pre-response meeting and a tour where we'll be able to see the equipment or so.
How often do these opportunities come around, or are these spaces made available?
Team loves to look to me on these ones. So this is an opportunity where we were able to purchase the equipment and have a space for a small business. I had mentioned that we also have an upcoming opportunity in the new N2 concourse, that there's also another small business contract that's called out there. As we continue to look at our new opportunities that we're putting out there, our department, it really has a focus on carving out those that will be a small business to bid on and get awarded. So we really want to be able to grow that small business opportunity directly to the airport. So as new opportunities come up, I drive my team absolutely crazy. You'll see those get posted, so just stay on the list and as we have those come up. I will say the timing of our next big concessions that we were looking at is in the overall Terminal 3. Those contracts will be expiring in the next 5 years. So we have to begin planning of how we'd rebid those and phase that so that we continue to have services for our passengers instead of taking the entire program down. But we continue to look for new opportunities.
And if I could add something else there as well. So she mentioned the T3 and 2 opportunities that we had the information meeting on Monday. And I did highlight the matchmaking event. That's going to be on May 9th. So even if there's not a direct opportunity that's coming up in the next few months, there's always partnership opportunities. So the matchmaking event is a great place for you to make those connections. So you can look at, I actually have the flyer at the table where you registered, and it's online as well for those of you that are online with us. So if you want to tune into that, if you have any questions, just let us know.
Will there be other locations in other airports? I'm sorry, will there be other locations at the other airports other than Sky Harbor?
Currently, our only opportunities are right here at Sky Harbor. Deer Valley has already been contracted for its food and beverage opportunity, and the airport at Goodyear does not have facilities for food and beverage or retail.
How does the bid process work? Is it first come, first served?
So the city does compete this through a competitive process, which is through the revenue contract solicitation. So when the document is posted, and if you're on our interest list, you'll get a notification of the proposal, and you'll read through the document itself and submit the proposal based on the evaluation criteria and your offerings, whether it's the design concept, the food menu, the pricing, your staffing plan, et cetera. Once we receive those proposals by the due date, an evaluation panel will go through the proposals and then do their evaluation process and make a selection with the highest score proposer. And once that is complete, then we seek City Council approval to enter into a contract with the awardee.
And I will just add one more thing, that we do have presentations that we've had in the past about the procurement process on our outreach page. You saw the QR code earlier in the presentation. So I think there's at least 1 or 2 presentations there that are just an overview of the procurement process. So feel free to tune into that and reach out to us with any questions.
Does that mean it's revenue-based?
What's the question? Is it revenue-based? So as Janet had explained, that there were certain criterias that we look for and we evaluate in your proposal. So it's not just revenue to us. It's not like who can generate the highest revenue. We are concentrated on what the opportunities that are going to come in. So what is the menu? What is your customer service, your experience in managing and operating a facility? So it's not just based upon your revenue. And actually with this opportunity, we have kind of eliminated the ability to bid on the revenue. We've already set the percentage that you'd pay to the airport. So we're really looking for quality operators with quality products.
What is the format of the matchmaking event?
Good question. So May 9th, we're actually going to have 2 events. So in the morning at 11 o'clock, we're going to have another business information meeting, which is going to cover a lot of the same content we talked about on Monday. There'll be a short break for lunch. And then at 1:30, we'll reconvene, and we're going to have a lot of our concessionaires or primes that plan to bid on the submittal hold tables. And we'll do kind of a speed dating style event where the suppliers or small businesses will go around in about 10-minute increments to go and chat and do more intimate networking. And there'll be short breaks in between. So you can register on Eventbrite. That information is on our outreach page. And we're doing our best to pair the primes with the suppliers or small businesses based off of their area of interest. And we'll be reaching out to any of those that are registered next week with further information on what to prepare, what that schedule is going to look like, and just any other information that we can provide ahead of time.
Will all suppliers be in the room at the same time?
They will, but again, they will all be at different tables. So we're going to have them spaced out so that you'll have intimate conversations while other people are having their own conversations. And then at the end, if there's anyone that you didn't get to meet, you can try to, flag them down and have some more networking afterwards.
Looks like we have no more questions online. Any additional questions here in the room? Seeing that there is none, we're going to go ahead and end today's meeting. For those in the room, we have many of our staff that's here. So if you wanted to chat with them afterwards, please let us know. We want to thank everyone for taking the Friday afternoon to join us for this business information meeting.